Thanks for joining us today. I always love to be on these webinars with all of our friends in the customer success space. So wherever you're coming from, London, whether it's London or just down the street in Lehigh, I'm grateful that you'd carve out a few minutes out of your day to join us. I'm Dave Blake. I'm the founder and CEO of ClientSuccess. And we are thrilled to host this webinar today where we're going to talk a little bit about my vision and our vision as for the state of customer success right now and in this new era of customer success that we're entering. For those who don't know us, we are a customer success platform. We help companies drive value throughout the entire customer journey from new to renew, whether it be onboarding and implementing new customers and collaborating with customers, measuring customer health, or maximizing that post-sales revenue. Where our platform is a leading platform for customer success teams and implementation and consulting teams to help drive the customer experience. So today, we're excited about this topic. Now, I really want to encourage you to be engaged. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. And I've got the chat up over here. I'll be looking at the chat, and we'll have Ben help me where needed for questions. But we're going to talk about some really cool topics that we're excited to share with the industry. We're going to talk a little bit about this new era of customer success, which we're calling Customer Success 5.0. Now, there may be some, and maybe chat here, that as I reveal the evolution of what we see, the evolution of customer success from 1.0 to 5.0, and really what are the attributes? What are some early trends that we're seeing in Customer Success 5.0? And so we're really looking forward to having you engage in this process. But let's start from the beginning. Let's look at it as a whole. This is how we see the evolution of customer success over the last couple decades, starting with 1.0 at the reactive era and ending now in 5.0, which we call the AI first era. So let's start clear back at the beginning. This is the beginning we would call Customer Success 1.0. Now, it's debatable when customer success was formally introduced. It was likely early than this, but this is kind of when customer success started becoming mainstream. So we say that this era, Customer Success 1.0, was the reactive era. This was in the early 2000s. So curious on the chat, who was in customer success in this era? I know I started customer success as a customer success professional back in like 2003. And so I've been through all of these eras, but just curious if there's anybody on the chat who's been in customer success since the early 2000s. You might be able to reminisce with me on what it was like back then. Back then, it wasn't even named customer success. A lot of people didn't know what to call it. It was account management. Sometimes it was dedicated support, but it was really, in some sense, a glorified tech support function. That may be maybe not as accurate, but it was more named support. It was around just early trying to figure out what was happening within SaaS and within technology. And CSMs were really there to be more reactive. It was more like advanced customer support, helping to solve problems. They're mainly just solving problems, learning a lot, trying to make sure customers were happy. There was a lot of hustle and a lot of hero work there, where there wasn't a lot of formal process engaged. And there was a lot of focus on just problem solving and keeping customers happy. The main measures of customer success back then was really more around customer satisfaction and customer happiness. Just take care of the customers and make them happy. That was the initial era, and there wasn't a lot of process, and it was the early days, the pioneering days of customer success, as we started to learn what it was, see the importance now as all of technology shifted to a SaaS model, and really trying to identify this new function we called customer success. Next one, and Matt Jolly's saying that he was there. I was in the trenches with Matt in that era. Customer Success 2.0. Now we're talking about mid to late 2000s, and this is what we would call the proactive era. This is much more focused on, we started to focus less on kind of hustling and keeping customers happy, and really starting to focus on adoption and retention. It was all about, we got to really get our customers to adopt the platform. We started looking at usage and adoption, a shift from reactive support to proactive customer engagements. I remember even in my own journey as a young customer success professional in this era, that it was kind of one of these things my boss would say, just do whatever it takes to keep the customer happy and retain them and renew them. And so that's what we did. We did whatever it takes. But there wasn't a lot of strategic frameworks in place at the time. We were starting those from scratch. So it was focused on product usage and adoption, creation. This is the early days of creating playbooks and frameworks and processes. It was really focused on just regular check-ins, maybe not a lot of structure to the meetings, basically reaching out via email or phone at the time to check in to see how customers were doing. And then this was the early days of the introduction of customer health scores to identify at-risk customers. I remember HubSpot was an early version of this. They had a CHI score, CHI, which was, I think, Customer Health Index, that they introduced back then, that they used internally, and others followed suit and started creating customer health scores. During 2.0 of customer success, this proactive era, CS was primarily measured on retention and customer health. Those were the primary thing. Let's look at health scores. Let's look at renewal rates and retention numbers and see how we do. Then we moved on to customer success 3.0, the strategic era. If you remember, this is where we started to really focus on being much more strategic with customers. It wasn't just about retention. It wasn't defensive about retaining customers. It was having an offensive approach to how we engage with customers, thinking about their objectives, their values, their goals, and a term that was coined at the time I'm not a big fan of, which was desired outcomes. This was in the 2010s. And during this era, that we started focus on this concept of value realization and driving customer outcomes. CS was focused on being more strategic and was recognized in the organization as being more strategic in the organization. There was a shift from adoption, just focusing on adopting a product, to really helping customers get ROI out of the product and measure that in measurable results. And there was a lot of emphasis on increase of data and analytics to drive decision-making and strategy. During this era, the 2010s, you started to see a much deliberate focus on and discussion around NRR, on measuring growth, expansion, and in addition to renewals. And this became the metric in all of SaaS, frankly, was this metric around NRR. This was during the 2010 decades. Then we shifted to what we would call the most recent decade, era, which was the Customer Success 4.0, which is the digital era. This is all about scaling through automation. The last couple of years, 2 or 3 years, emphasized this in significant ways as the economy shifted and sales pipelines dried up, and companies were cutting headcount and expenses. This was all about every single company was trying to figure out, how do I scale more efficiently and more cost effectively? And this is where the Customer Success 4.0 era of the digital era, the digital transformation, came about. This was in the last 3 or 4 years, in the early 2020s, where we saw a significant increase in the use of digital tools and technologies to scale customer success efforts, to implement automated workflows and digital touch points and self-service resources for customers. And trying to deliver more of the customer journey in a digital way, in a scalable way. You also saw the rise of CS ops in some cases, where you had specialized resources now who are building out process and managing technology and building out customer journeys and organizing those things and orchestrating those. And you really saw a shift in focus, much needed focus on profitability and efficiency, mainly because the economy shift and we had a significant change in all of SaaS in the dynamics of it's not a growth at all cost, it's growth profitably and efficiently. That was Customer Success 4.0. So now today, we believe we've entered this era of Customer Success 5.0 or CS 5.0, which we believe is the AI first era. This is all about AI powered personalization and intelligence. This is the era that we're in, we're seeing massive amounts of innovation and ideation around this. Key characteristics of Customer Success 5.0, this AI first era, is that we're seeing AI embedded into everything and powering everything. And that may be somewhat of an exaggeration, but we're seeing AI in all parts of our workflows and in how we do work. I know I don't know about you, but I use AI all the time throughout the day in various ways to drive my insights, to drive workflows, to improve my writing, to understand things better, and to be smarter and more contextually aware. We see AI driving insights, not only driving insights and giving us better insights, but automating a lot of our actions so that we don't have to do a lot of this, a lot of our actions. We can have AI do it. We see extremely personalized customer journeys. It's no longer sufficient to have a non-personalized customer journey. That's what we're seeing. We want the market and consumers and companies expect us to know them and tailor the experience for them at the right time in the right way for that individual and their needs. You see continuous improvement through AI-driven feedback loops to drive improvements faster, to understand the customer experience and the voice of the customer, and to drive experience faster. And you see higher expectations in delivering intelligent, personalized, but profitable customer experiences. Our customers want intelligent, personalized experiences. Our businesses need us to deliver those in profitable ways and intelligent ways. And you see that CS is starting to be measured by this combination of predictable growth, very accurate forecasts around renewals and growth and churn, but also profitable growth to be able to grow very profitably and efficiently, leveraging technology in different ways. This is what we call Customer Success 5.0, the AI first era. Now, there's a lot of attributes, and there's a lot of over the coming weeks and months, you'll hear from our team, from me and our team, more attributes about this era that we're currently in. It's an exciting era. It's moving so fast that all of us are just trying to keep up, let alone stay ahead and innovate and come up with new ideas. But it will require our best ideas. And it will see quickly that AI will move from this surface level use of AI in technology to this shift where AI will be embedded in everything, in all of our technology. And it will, to the point we won't even think about it. It'll just be the new way in which we use technology and the way that technology powers everything that we do. Now, today, I'm going to talk about two key attributes that around a Customer Success 5.0 that we think really stand out. The first one is that we believe that AI will not diminish the human experience at all. In fact, what we believe is that it will amplify and improve and power the human experience. We believe in this concept of this equation, CS 5.0 equals EQ plus IQ multiplied by AI. So EQ is emotional intelligence. That is the heart of customer success. That's where a CSM will bring their compassion, their understanding, the humanness of connecting with individuals. And we tailor that with the CSM's intelligence, the IQ, their smarts that they bring to the table to understand how things connect, how to interpret data, how to understand the context in which data and relationships and discussions all fit together in a very human first way. But we anticipate that AI now will be a multiplier effect. It will take this EQ and IQ, the emotional intelligence and the human intelligence, that CSMs that each of you bring every day to your work, to your customer relationships, and it will amplify that. It'll make you smarter. It'll make you more contextually aware. It will make you understand where to work to be more efficient, to engage better with customers, and to connect better with them to achieve their objectives. And it will help you predict, and it will prescribe things to do that will be the most important things to do, not just busy work. It will also amplify your ability to get more done more quickly and more efficiently. No more will you have to take as many notes and summarize data. The AI will help do all of that for you so that you can spend more time doing what you do best, which is engage in it from a human to human way in a relationship with your customers. This is the future of customer success, and this is what CS 5.0 ushers in for this exciting space of customer success. We believe that AI-driven customer success should always be centered around 5 different vectors around AI. So we believe that AI needs to help you become more proactive. AI needs to help you to be more predictive, to understand and predict the customer health and customer engagement and customer experience. It needs to help you to be more productive, to operationally let you do more in less time. We believe that AI should help you be very prescriptive, to help you know exactly what you should do and sometimes what you shouldn't spend your time doing, to be much more pinpointed on things that are value added and value driven versus busy work. And the last thing, and probably the most important P of AI-driven customer success, is personalization. It'll help you to be much more personalized, to deliver insights and content and discussions to the right customer at the right time with the right context and right information. This is what we believe are the five Ps of AI-driven customer success, and we'll be sharing more about this thought leadership over the coming weeks and months as well. We love this. Okay, the second thing, the second trend, besides these 5 Ps in AI-driven customer success, is that we believe that you'll see a much more significant trend to moving to unified platforms to help you deliver unified experiences. The reason why we say this is that despite our best efforts as companies to stitch together technology and teams and experiences to deliver a cohesive experience, every team is using different platforms. They're using one solution for voice of customer, for NPS and CSAT collection and understanding the customer experience. We see another solution that people are using for their onboarding teams and implementation teams. We see solutions that people are using for expansion and renewals, and we see customer success teams using customer success platforms. The challenge with this is that you have different teams using different solutions. And despite your best efforts to bring those together, to stitch them, to integrate them, to develop a unified experience, it's really hard to do that when you have teams and solutions that are fractured and that are built specifically for those functional groups, not for the entire customer experience. So a key attribute that we see in this era, the AI first era, or CS 5.0, is unified platforms to help you deliver unified experiences. How can we have platforms that all the teams responsible for the customer experience can use and be able to leverage across all of the customer journey? Even this image right now, it's used, the customer journey isn't necessarily a simple stage by stage journey. It's an experience. It's an ongoing onboarding experience, and it's an onboarding customer experience. You're checking in on the voice of the experience all the time, and you're always expanding and renewing customers. So how do you have unified platforms to help you deliver unified experiences? This is a key attribute that we believe that we'll see over the coming years. We'll see a shift from narrow best of breed technology or tools to more of a suite of products across a unified platform for all of your teams. We're excited at ClientSuccess to be driving this vision going forward. This is why we made a strategic move recently to acquire a company called Baton. Baton is a all-in-one solution built specifically for customer onboarding and implementations. Years of innovation and development have gone into building a purpose-built solution for onboarding and implementation teams to help you drive fast time to value, to be able to collaborate more directly with customers through a customer portal, and to be able to deliver an amazing onboarding and implementation experience, because that's the most critical part of a customer journey, is that initial experience. It's proven that if you can deliver an amazing experience within that onboarding, your likelihood of retaining that customer and growing that customer increases significantly. The challenge, though, is that you had many teams that were using purpose-built onboarding and implementation platforms and trying to stitch that together with customer success platforms or CRMs or other things. And at their best efforts, there was some fractional experience there. You had two different teams using that were very closely required to work together to deliver a cohesive experience using two different solutions. And as a result, you saw lost information. You didn't have the context you needed. You had data gaps and data visibility gaps. Well, we're excited to close that gap, to remove that gap with this acquisition of Baton, to bring customer experience teams, customer onboarding teams, customer implementation teams, and customer success teams together in one platform with cohesive insights, with enriched data, with workflows that work seamlessly throughout the customer journey to all together so that they're all working in one unified platform to deliver one unified experience. We are very excited about this acquisition, and the early feedback and validation that we've received both in our customer base and in the market at large. And we really want to give you today a sneak peek and an overview of Baton and the power that Baton can bring to your onboarding and implementation team, especially as you think about coupling it with a solution like ClientSuccess with a customer success platform. So with that, I'm going to turn the time over to my colleague, our VP of Sales, TJ Ruff, who's going to give you an overview of our platform Baton by ClientSuccess. TJ.
Thank you so much, Dave, and everyone. Very excited to roll out a quick sneak peek of Baton. Like Dave said, every customer experience can benefit from or suffer from that first onboarding journey. Okay, that first 90 days for some, or maybe it's 6 months or 12 months. If we do it right, we benefit. There's a positive impression that we've made. And if we do it wrong, we kind of suffer from that negative impression for the life of the relationship. So everything I'm going to show you today in Baton is focused on a couple key outcomes for onboarding and implementation, that overall customer experience. And the number one outcome, the number one thing we're trying to drive with Baton is reduce launch time, okay? Reduce time to value, reduce implementation time. We have Baton customers who have cut implementations in half by implementing Baton. How? Why? That's what we'll show you today, the features and functionalities that especially focus on collaboration. There are lots and lots of project management type tools. I mean, how many of you use a combination of Asana and Trello and Mud? You get the idea. I'm really happy to show that Baton, because of its focus on the customers, on that customer experience, the ability to collaborate, share tasks, let them see the plan, see our status. Very happy to share that Baton is built explicitly for that customer experience. So let's get into this product. Okay, we're very excited. While ClientSuccess and a lot of those in the market have dedicated playbook management functionality. A lot of us have something. What about when that doesn't meet my needs? I've got a lot more going on. I have a lot of projects in flight. I need to see what's happening. That's where we start here, this overview page of all of my projects, okay? What's a project? For most use cases, it's going to largely be an implementation, an onboarding, a rollout of a new product, that type of thing. However, we have customers who have new use cases that surprise us every day. But for the example of this walkthrough, let's focus on much more of a classic onboarding or implementation experience, at which point I need a view like this one where I can see everything I have in flight. This view right here shows me that I have 29 total projects, and this beautiful little data bar, by the way, if you don't like a quick little visual insight, we can turn this off. This is a very flexible view. This will give us insight and an overview of literally everything we have going on. I can use this to filter down and show me particular projects based on any criteria I'd like to filter by. For example, just very simply, just show me the projects that are currently in flight. I have 21 of these, and I can quickly scroll through, see what's started, what's ahead, what's behind, and a whole bunch of custom fields where you have the option to keep track of any data points you want to see. We're really excited about this. Our customers love this. Custom field examples might be keeping track of just the t-shirt size of an implementation. Hey, this is going to be an XL. We know this client, we know their personality. This is going to be an extra large project, or it's going to be a medium t-shirt size, right? Lots of functionalities around here to not only slice and dice the data and look at it how I want, but configure the data points that we're collecting so we can see all the data we need about a customer to make this successful, to make this onboarding experience successful. Now, we're going to dig into an actual project. Hey, what are the nuts and bolts? What does this actually look like when we're in flight? I'm going to cover that, but just a couple of things. We get a lot of questions about, hey, TJ, can I change the view? How do we make this look a little bit differently as we're moving forward? I don't have to look at it from this classic list view, right? I can also look at this from the classic Kanban view, where I'm going to choose different columns. And these columns, they can be classic onboarding phases. They can be different data points, like even custom fields. Show me all of my Excel projects or whatever it is, right? I have a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility in how to do this. So we're very excited for the depth and the power and the flexibility to let you work the way you need to work to get your customers up and running. Okay, that's this overview here. And beyond our ability to filter and slice and dice and say, show me only those projects for a particular customer or for a particular lead. You know, Savon, how many projects is Savon running right now? Sweet, he finished his. You get the idea. I can look at any data point I'd like to slice, custom fields, what's coming up due. You get the idea here. Let's actually dig into the most exciting part for me, which is an actual project of Baton. This is an idea of what using Baton for you and your customers can look like. And I'm going to start off with a more complex, more of a heavy onboarding process. Keep in mind, my processes in Baton will be exactly as complex or as simple as your real world implementation plan is, okay? This is very adaptable, but let's look at an individual project. We're going to go look at Cooper Bank. If you see here, this client Cooper Bank has 3 projects. I'm going to go look at this one, okay? Accounts, debit card, and payments. We're rolling out this particular product for this customer. We start off with a general, simple, clean, quick overview. What is more simple than this chart right here, okay? This is one of the most important philosophies in Baton and keeping it simple. Don't overwhelm your customer by showing them 1,000 tasks or 100 tasks that they have to get done. Let's start off with a real simple timeline check of, hey, here's when we need to get it done by. Here's where we are. So what do we need to do to get through this together, right? We're going to start off with a simple, clean overview because it is far too easy to overwhelm a customer if the first screen they see is actually the task list. So fundamentally, Baton, we're built from the ground up trying to simplify and say, how do we make this the best possible customer experience? And knowing that if I show them, even if it's just 10 tasks, and this is the first screen they see, I can cause some anxiety. So let's keep this pretty simple. So we start off with an overview. And of course, keep in mind, I can choose to share what I want with a customer. I can choose to share them this page. Maybe they'd prefer the very simple, clean view, or maybe this customer, I would like to share with them instead just the task right from the get-go. A lot of flexibility, and especially the ability to share with the client in a client presentation mode exactly what you want them to see. So let's walk through the nuts and bolts here, though. In Baton, you have a simple hierarchy of a phase. This is up top. This color right here, to me, this is purple. My wife is an artist. She's told me that this is actually a subset of purple, but for those of you on this call, please work with me. We'll call this purple, okay? I forget what it actually really is. But this is a phase, my highest grouping function. Next, below the phase, I have a milestone, and this milestone right here, oh, Simon says it's a lilac color. It was with an L, Simon. I think that's fair. It's like a lavender or lilac, something like that. We'll call it purple. But you have your phase up here. Next level down, you have a milestone. These milestones are indicated by this diamond right here. Okay, 1.1 project setup. Here's the milestone. And then beneath this is our last level, which is tasks. And this task level of hierarchy includes subtasks, dependent tasks, really all the power under the hood that you might expect or need, but also the ability to keep it simple and clean. I want to remind everyone, we have some people who are looking for the recording. All of this will come in the recording for anyone who has to leave at half past. Keep that in mind. You'll be able to see all of this. And of course, reach out to ClientSuccess. We'd be happy to give you a customized walkthrough of this. Now, all that said, we have the architecture, a phase. I have different phases that I've named kickoff or design or build. You have the ability to name the phases whatever you'd like and have as many or as few as you want. This is truly flexible. I have named this kickoff. I have named this design and build. It's literally up to you to choose what is it you would like to show inside of your projects. These projects, the way we built them in Baton, we want them to be repeatable and replicable. So we're actually going to have a template concept. I'll show you those in just a minute, but what I'm showing you here is something I don't want you to have to rebuild for every customer every time. We'll create these really at a template level. So when I have a new customer who's ready to onboard, we simply apply the template that we've created to this exact customer. But what goes into that template? What goes into this planning and creation? Well, notice here that these tasks have these icons, okay? A checklist icon, a eyelid icon, okay? Dependency icons. Every single task actually in ClientSuccess has a lot of power. So let's click into it. And if you'll look at this, I open up a task drawer just by clicking on this line right here. And the task drawer shows me a whole lot of power, the ability to have a lot of metadata. I'd like to have an initial hello customer task that welcomes them. And I'm going to include a link or a picture of myself waving saying, hey, are you ready to go? Whatever it is I'd like to do. All of this metadata that you'd expect, but the power of Baton comes from all the additional functionality. I have the ability to, let's use these icons up here in the top to navigate. I have an ability to create checklist items, okay? There are things that I need to get done for a task, multiple things in order, and I don't want to have a long description, multiple paragraphs, but I also don't need separate alerts or reminders to get it done. I don't need actual subtasks. So a checklist functionality allows me to accommodate the fact that this one task has to get 4 or 5 things done, but they're pretty simple and I don't need actual dependencies or subtasks below it. However, if I'd like subtasks, I absolutely can create a subtask for a task, and I can create this little tree of everything that needs to be done to accomplish this. Of course, another piece of the puzzle, another tool up our sleeves, dependencies. I need to be able to indicate to a customer that if we don't get this task done, everything over here is dependent, and my goodness, we're going to have a hard time hitting our go live date, okay? And of course, the ability to add attachments. The attachments here include anything from a link. Let me link this customer at this task to a knowledge base article, or a full-on file, a slide deck, a PowerPoint. I can even, of course, have the customer upload their tasks. Hey, please send over that spreadsheet. Everything I'm showing you here is the power that is available to you for a single task. So as we think about using Baton, I don't have to use any of those additional features or functions, right? But what we want you to understand is as you grow and as you get more and more advanced in your onboarding, as you care to track more and more, you actually have the ability to do more in Baton. You won't be switching products because I have the ability to not only do simple tasks, name them, give descriptions, but I have dependencies that will allow me to build out and show customer Gantt charts and timeline views and all of those kinds of things. So what you're seeing here overall is the power. One of the most important aspects, though, of project management, and this is where we start seeing Baton and their focus on the customer experience really shine. I've got a list. to get a customer up and running. And inherently, this list is maybe 100 tasks. I've talked to some who have 1,200, 1,500 tasks to get it done. If you show that task list to your customers, we're going to have a problem. They're going to have so much anxiety, like, whoa, what did we get ourselves into? Especially because, hello, in customer success, we see too often the person who buys the product doesn't actually show up for the implementation. So that poor implementation team has no idea what they're getting themselves into. Anyone ever seen that movie before, right? So how do we simplify this for a customer? Remember, first of all, I have the ability to start off clean and simply with an overview that allows me to communicate very simply and cleanly a rough timeline. We need to get these milestones. Remember those diamonds. This one's definitely purple, okay? These purple diamonds, let me get these done at this time. All the way to our end date, a nice, simple, clean way to show this. There are 5 phases. We're currently in the kickoff phase. We've got 1 milestone out of 8 done, but this was a really big milestone. So we're 40% of the way there. So I can give the simplified, cleaned up view, but the customers need the chance to interact with me directly. I'm going to have customers who will be able to go so much faster if they just had access to this view right here. So Baton has a customer-facing portal. All right, this is one of the most important things about Baton. This is where we begin to separate from just any old tool for project management to an onboarding focused, a purpose-built solution to say, let's drive some value for our customers. I can share anything I want to with my customer. What do I mean by anything I want to? Think of it like this. There are going to be some who, if I have 1,200 tasks, I don't want to show 1,200 tasks to my customer. Not every customer needs to know how the sausage is made. So if you see this icon right here, this means I've taken this task and I've hidden it from a client, okay? Hidden it from a client means when they access a customer portal, they won't see these tasks because I just don't want to overwhelm them. So I can clean this up as much as I need. And just by adding these few winky eyelids here, I call them winky eyelids, these eyelid icons here, I have the ability to share this to a customer and I reduce the complexity that they will see automatically by about 50%. Let's look at what that view looks like. If you were using Baton yourself and you wanted to share with a customer, they weren't logging in the portal, I could actually click a button right here, project actions, and get into client presentation mode. What does client presentation mode do? It cleans up all of the data so I could share my screen with that customer live. And look how clean this milestone just became. The complexity, i.e. the amount of tasks or the amount of anxiety I'm giving a customer, was just reduced by about 50%, okay? And what's really cool, this is exactly the same view that your customers will have when they log in through a portal to come see their task list. This is what you can show a customer. So again, you can pick and choose what do they need to see, what do they want to see. And sometimes the desire or goal for what I show them is a matter of communication and collaboration. I just want to let them know we're underway on this. Other times it's, how do I say this? In project management, sometimes we don't want customers blowing up our inbox just to say, how are we doing? What's going on? It's less about getting them to do a task. And it might be more about saving everyone time by letting them see what's in progress, what's stuck, what's complete. So a lot of benefits and value to giving my customers access to a view like this. Now, this view not only includes what you're seeing here, this tasks piece, but it also includes the ever more simple overview. This is a much more friendly and welcoming page to a customer than, even though I've cleaned this up and maybe they only have 5 tasks or 10 tasks, it's one of the secret sauces of Baton is keep it simple. And what, again, is more simple than a couple colors, a couple diamonds, and a timeline view, right? So this is the view that my customers can have as we walk through and look at this. Again, the example I'm showing you is for a more complex type of onboarding or implementation. And what we're trying to communicate there is that Baton, if this was a car on the freeway, has a lot of speed, okay? We have a very high top speed. We can reduce and simplify as much as you need. And let me give you an example of that. These other tasks here, one of the most common questions we get in a live demo is, hey, is there a Gantt chart? Is there a timeline? Absolutely there is. Let me show you what that looks like. We click over here on the timeline view, and I have the ability to show a customer this beautiful Gantt chart. We'll see the phases and the milestones and exactly how long they take and what's done and what's not. And you'll see these individual dependencies, these lines that show, customer, I really want to get this done, but to get it done for you, I need something. back. Help us communicate and show exactly what's going to be required to get this done. And guess what? If a customer doesn't get a dependent task done, or a task rather that I'm dependent on, you've never seen that before either, right? They don't get it done in time. We have the ability to shift out all the dates, and we can point to it and say, we had a dependency date shift because that task I need you to get done didn't get done in time. So I actually can't do it. Our due date, our overall time to go live is at risk. And we have the ability to not only share that data in a presentation view when I'm meeting with them, they can see this data in the customer portal. And of course, behind the scenes, we're going to put all this in email with alerts and notifications, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But this right here, some of you are going to look at this and say, this is way more complex than my onboarding process. We absolutely get that. And again, that's the power of Baton, is it's fungible. I can adapt this from a complex multiple dependencies timeline to a very simple Gantt chart view right here. This is a template. Okay. The templates are the simplified, this is a template of a simplified version, but the template is that building block of Baton. I don't want you, remember, to have to recreate a new project for every new customer. That's not scalable. So in implementing and using Baton, you would actually spend your time and effort and energy codifying, systematizing a template that when I apply it to a customer, when a customer is ready to go live and go through this process, then at that point, all the work's done. This is applied, and all I'm doing is making a couple of minor alterations for that particular customer. Maybe I'm going to add an extra task because we're in the same city and we're going to go to lunch or something, right? That's where the templates are. But look how simple this Gantt chart, this timeline view is, okay? I can adjust Baton to be exactly as complex as I need or as simple and clean as I might want. This entire project has a single dependency. That's it. So we want you to be aware of these things. Now, as we get towards the end of our walkthrough of Baton and introducing all the Baton, we focus mostly on some of the base functionalities and customer collaboration. I'm going to start going to some of the more advanced pieces. Like it gets even better. The customer-facing view is absolutely incredible. It is heaven when a customer is working with me in my cleaned up view. Remember, it will look just like this one. And when they first log in, they have a simple, clean view. They have the ability to access an overview. Here it is. I left them a little note. They have the ability to see this. I'm a little worried that we're about to get stuck with the upcoming holidays and PTO between our two teams. Can we sync in the next 1 to 2 weeks to come up with a plan of attack? I can leave a note for a customer here. Not only can I leave a note there, of course, but speaking of collaboration with the customer, I have the ability to comment back and forth on these tasks. In this activity area, you'll see my ability to leave a comment. Very common use cases here. I need a customer to upload a file. Okay, so I'm going to be able to @ a customer. Let's say I'm going to @ my customer who might be Savon here. Let's pretend Savon's a customer at this time, and this will chat them. They'll get a notification, of course. Did you have any questions about this file or anything like that? Or one of my favorite use cases, I'm going to be a little bit less tactical or professional than some of you would be. I can put in a comment here and make this completely private. Dave Blake, my lovely founder and CEO, is a really great person, just oversubscribed, but Date has a task that I'm dependent on. So I have to put a note in here, and I'm going to @ Savon and say, Savon, Dave is killing me. He's currently not even started on this task. Can you help me wrangle him down? And I'm going to make this internal only, so no customer would ever see this. And I can send this out to say, Ben, will you help me wrangle our CEO to get this task done? There's scenarios where we've all seen them. Our customers are a little bit of a problem. They're kind of the obstacle or the roadblock. So we have the ability to talk around this and use this type of data. Again, you have complete control of what you're showing to a customer. Some customers don't want to see how the sausage is made. The portal experience is heaven, and it is so amazing when a customer is using it. They're chatting with me for each of these tasks, asking a question, uploading files. It's incredible. But here's the crazy thing, as amazing as it is, you have customers right now who won't even access a Google Sheet, okay? So there will be some who won't access a portal. Of course there will be. And my favorite thing about Baton is we plan for that. We know there's people who won't log into a portal, no matter how amazing it works. For those who do, it's absolutely heaven, but they might not be, those tricky customers might not be logging into a portal. I know they're going to be in their email inbox. So if you look at this, I have the ability to send a status report. This high-level introduction instruction. It's configurable. Choose what data points we're going to share or not share with the customer. This is the HTML body. And if I'd like to have as much data as I can, we can do this, or I can keep it very simple and clean. This is one of my favorite things because you just get so frustrated when you can show a customer there's a better way and they just aren't interested. Nope. I'm just going to live in my email inbox. So good luck tracking me down. Well, now we're going to track them down with Baton, because not only can we send out details, I added a little summary. Again, I'm worried about that upcoming PTO. So we need to come up with a plan of attack. Schedule with my calendar link right here. Let's meet in the next 3 days to overcome this and look at this. So not only can I take status reports to a customer, I can choose who I send this to, right? And this could not only go to my customer, this could go to my implementations lead or my operations officer, chief implementation, whoever it is internally. This can go internal, external, or everywhere in between, okay? So we love these. And of course, in addition to, let's just go ahead and back out of this one. In addition to the portal experience, I also have email notifications about all the tasks that I need to get done. You look at this and I can specify with every task, should this go out to a client? Should this be external to a client? Should it be internal only? And do I really want to bug someone about getting a past due notification on Monday, or excuse me, on Sunday or Saturday? Hey, for some of us, Monday should be a holiday too. So maybe I'll turn Monday off. You get the idea. Super flexible. The beauty too, well, I just saw a question come through and I'll ask my team, of course, to send over any critical questions. This does integrate one-to-one with Jira. So my individual tasks integrate one-to-one with a Jira case, a very simple, clean, powerful type view. Now, what do my emails look like? A common situation is I have a task coming up due tomorrow. I get a very simple, clean email that says, here's a task. And best of all, I can get it done in my email inbox. I click a button and say, hey, this is in progress, or this is stuck. I need someone else to get something else done, or it's complete. Again, let's try to get them in their inbox. We at least know they're going to be there. So powerful, powerful elements here. In addition to a very common use case of talking dependent tasks. For those of you who have these lovely situations where you cannot deliver to a customer until they provide, you're blocked, stuck. And I have the ability to notify. The moment you're unblocked, you will instantly get a notification that says, hey, TJ, a task has been unblocked. Let's get rolling. And I'm like, yes. So I click on in progress and I'm rock and rolling from then on. So again, beyond just the nuts and bolts and the basic pieces of Baton, the ability to integrate with Jira, literally every task inside of Baton can integrate one-to-one with a Jira case, a very powerful Jira issue. I can also trigger the creation of a project, of course, in Baton. I can create these projects from an integration, say, with Salesforce or similar to say, all right, customer just went live. Let's get them in here. Let's apply a template and make sure they're ready to rock and roll. So these are the basic ideas of Baton. The most exciting things are those collaborative pieces, a portal for my customers to log in and engage with me. We're going to cut down how many meetings we actually have to have because they can go get their own status update or provide their own status update. The tasks are powerful. We can get as complex as you need to be or as simple as we need to be. And there's more, maybe more on the note of additional functionality. I'll cover these quickly. Remember, we didn't anticipate being able to cover absolutely everything on a webinar like this, but there's some additional cool functionality in Baton. You notice, some of you might have paid attention when we looked at the templates, you have the ability to input, of course, duration. How many days is this going to take? And you see, I've just expanded this piece, but I can also add time, not just days, time. Why time? Time tracking, resource planning, pretty amazing advanced functionalities inside of Baton. If every task has an hour, a time component, how many minutes or how many hours, I'll be able to show you how undersubscribed or oversubscribed your resources are. Right here is an idea. Poor Sivan he had a few good weeks coming into it, but I just had 3 weeks in a row where the tasks assigned to him required him to work 64 hours, 50 hours, 45 hours. We're going to have a major problem. We have a resource issue here. And this is based on that simple functionality. So we really love this piece, this power to do resource planning. Of course, I have the ability to also do time tracking. I can log billable hours and say, I'm working on this task and here's what I'm doing. I can look at time sheets, very powerful functionality. And last but not least, maybe Another fan favorite for those I've shown is the ability to have a form. What's a form? A form is, think of it like a survey, the ability to capture critical data from a customer as we get into a project. The most common use case for forms, let's ask customers a handful of questions right out the gate. Think of it as an intake form. We're beginning their onboarding, we're beginning this project, because again, it doesn't have to be onboarding or implementation. And I have the ability to custom build a form, a survey, and say, hey, customer, what are the products we need to integrate with? Select from this list. Or who are going to be my primary contacts and how do I reach them? Or what are your concerns? Like, what do we have upcoming that's going to keep us from hitting the deadline? These forms are such a powerful way to get off to the right start, gather critical data we've always needed, or beyond just the intake and starting point, why don't I use this for a mid-project assessment? How are we doing? What do y'all think about this so far? Or maybe it's the exit of the project. Hey, will you give me some feedback? We're done now. Did we do okay? So let's do like a CSAT survey here. A lot of use cases for forms, and fundamentally, the sky's kind of the limit of what you can do when you're building your own pieces here. I mean, we're not trying to ask you to replace, Delighted or things like that, but there's a lot of power in being able to gather critical information at just the right time for your customers. And really, that's Baton in a nutshell. There's more that we'd love to show you. We can put pieces together, but the number one focus and the number one outcome is reducing how long it takes to get a customer through a project. Reduce that time, and we accomplish that with the collaboration functionality with the customer. We accomplish that with the alerts and notifications that can go through. We accomplish that with the ability to show powerful reporting and insights, a list of all of my tasks that are currently behind schedule. You get the idea. So cool. We'd love to show you more. But with that, we're going to turn it back over to Ben, our VP of Marketing, to kind of discuss our next steps from here. And just want to thank everyone for your time. A lot of great feedback. And thank you so much. We're excited for Baton, and we know you'll love it too.
Thank you, TJ. And I promise I asked him to be quick. And I know that we have Baton is so a powerful solution that there's a lot of ground to cover there. So just we have like 2 minutes left before people are moving on other meetings or tasks to do today. But we had a couple of questions that we answered on the chat, but we'll repeat them. So there was question about integration. So do we integrate with Salesforce and Jira? Yes, we do. We also do integrate with Zapier and have an API. So if you need to build any connection of any sort, you can connect through API too if Jira, Salesforce, or Zapier are not the first choice. What else did we have? I think, Dave, you answer another question. I'm looking at that.
While we're looking at those, just one comment to call out. We showed you the power of Baton, and Baton will continue to be able to operate as a standalone product. You will not need to also purchase ClientSuccess to use Baton. The power of Baton and ClientSuccess is what we're so excited about. That's what we want to show you in demonstrations. Let's show you how these two with the data together can help you see better than ever how we're really doing and how to make customers successful. So that integration is a piece we'd love to show you in future follow-up calls if you're interested.
Yeah, and that was two other questions. A kind of similar thing. That's when the integration with ClientSuccess will be complete. And I mean, I think I can't remember if TJ you mentioned that, but Dave, yeah, can you give us a little bit of a
I'll answer that question. Thanks for the question, Randy and Simon. Great question. I think we're looking at it in a couple phases. One is a very quick integration that provides visibility across the two platforms. That should be available in the matter of weeks. And then the second phase is the full integration across workflows and insights and analytics, which will be in the coming months. So excited to get get the initial integration done quickly, and then follow up with a more in-depth integration as quickly as possible thereafter.
Awesome, thanks, Dave. And something that, I mean, we are at time now, so they just like wanted to thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. People that are still there, I know that some people had to drop off. We'll send the recording again, and if you want to get more into the detail, more into the your situation and how you can use Baton. Our team, TJ and his team, and our team is really happy to help. And you can directly book time in their calendar to get like 15, 30 minutes demo and discussion on how to integrate, use it, and start with Baton. TJ, so I see that you unmute yourself. You had something to add before we close up the
just very
webinar?
simple. Part of the exploration, if any of you want to look at Baton, we'll give you access to the product, a hands-on trial. Check it out for yourselves. Let's put your implementation plan in here. We want to let you know that this is a very hands-on experience to look at Baton, and we'll make it available to literally anyone who wants to reach out and talk.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dave, for the perspective on CS, and TJ for the demo and the passion about Baton. Thank you, everyone, again. Looking forward to discuss more about how we integrate all these solutions and tools together to provide a better experience to our customers. Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.